Mid-September in the Okanagan marks the unofficial start to the hockey season as the Oilers, Canucks, Flames, and Jets prospects converge on Penticton for the annual Young Stars Tournament. Hi everybody, I'm Tom Gazzola from Oilers TV. Tonight, one of the most eagerly anticipated debuts of one of the most highly touted prospects in Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, hits the ice in orange and blue in a game setting for the first time as he gets set to take on Jake Virtanen, Jared McCann, Hunter Szykarek, and the Canucks prospects. For more on tonight's action, we send it up to the play-by-play team of Gene Principe and Joey Kenward.
Tom, thanks a lot. From outside to inside at the South Okanagan Event Center. One game is done, and now it is the nightcap, a doubleheader to kick off the 2015 Young Stars Tournament in Penticton. Joined by Joey Kenward. Great to be beside you. Great to be in Penticton. This tournament, since it kicked off in 2010, has always been a wonderful event. Tom touched on the Vancouver Canucks. They've really got some quantity in the first round, and I think they're hoping that turns into quality.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are talking about Connor McDavid for the Oilers, and for good reason, but the Canucks have 4 former first-round draft picks of their own coming here to the South Okanagan Event Center. Let's take a look at the Vancouver's lineup tonight against the Oilers. The former first-round picks in the lineup for Vancouver include Hunter Szykarek, Brendan Gaunce, Jared McCann, and Jake Virtanen. Cole Castles will center the top line with Szykarek and Virtanen. That's a line that will go head-to-head with the Oilers' top line featuring Connor McDavid. And these are 3 players that have mixed experience in the Canucks organization. But in the case of Jake Virtanen, this is the first time he's actually putting on a Vancouver uniform for the first time. He'll wear number 77, was drafted 6th overall 1 year ago, but didn't take part in the Young Stars Classic a year ago due to recovering from shoulder surgery. You know, he's fired up. The native of British Columbia will have tons of family and friends on hand making the trek up from the Fraser Valley to watch him here at the South Okanagan Event Center. So he puts on an NHL jersey for the first time, as does a fellow first-round pick from that same draft. Jared McCann wears number 51. He wasn't here last year due to a bout of mono, but after he got back to 100% health last season, had a dynamite campaign with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds of the Ontario Hockey League. He has played against McDavid in the playoffs and the OHL. You know, he is pumped to put up an NHL uniform for the first time in a building where a lot of people are sure going to be cheering for the Canucks in blue, but they're here to see that guy top middle under the forwards column.
Yeah, you mentioned him, Connor McDavid. It's hard to go anywhere, anytime, and not mention that name. I mean, everybody in the hockey world is talking about him and have been, well, for years. And then when Edmonton and the gold card came up on April 23rd, it meant that he wasn't going to Buffalo and he may not go to Arizona, that he was coming to Edmonton. Connor McDavid, so much has been said about him, but the book will now have a new chapter as he gets started tonight unofficially in his professional hockey career. The build-up to McDavid, as much as there's been, it continues, and the hype in this city has been incredible in anticipation of his arrival. He's here, and people want to see what he can do against his peers.
Gene, you and I have been very fortunate to be here from day one of this tournament in 2010. It's a fantastic showcase for the future stars of the National Hockey League. But I know when you were rolling down the Coquihalla Highway here into the South Okanagan, you could feel the buzz in the building, in the city, and it's 25 to 30 degrees Celsius outside. Yeah. It's hockey weather. McDavid's here. The Canucks are here. Of course, the Calgary Flames and Winnipeg Jets are here, but it is electric right now here in the South Okanagan to see that guy and the future stars of the National Hockey League.
You know what? He truly is the talk of the town. This morning, just walking around, I saw people on their phones. I had people talk to me, and they all want to discuss Connor McDavid and what he may do for the Edmonton Oilers as we're just about set for the opening face-off. And it is incredible, Joe. It's not like the Oilers have not had first overall picks. They've had some really good ones in Taylor Hall and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and a developing Nail Yakupov, but it does not at all compare to what, well, Trevor Linden, second overall in his draft year behind Mike Modano. So this is an area, a province that knows about star players, and they're hoping that Connor McDavid will develop into something that Trevor Linden was, and maybe more.
Here getting the red carpet treatment, as you see Trevor Linden, president of hockey operations for the Canucks, as well as wearing the tie, the new mayor of Penticton, who has been a huge...
stats guy. I call him a stats guy, and apparently he's the mayor.
Andrew Jacobite, who has been a longtime supporter of hockey of all levels throughout the Okanagan. It's great to see him. I said, congratulations, Your Honor. It's an honor to see you again. He's the mayor of Penticton, and in the middle, that's Dean Clark. He's the general manager of this beautiful South Okanagan Event Center. And I'll tell you what, they have a full house tonight. They'll have the ceremonial puck drop as it's between Hunter Shinkarik and Darnell Nurse. Fans are in the building. Fans continue to make their way into the building. They're in for a real treat tonight.
And you know, they had some tickets that came available this morning that teams were allotted that couldn't necessarily use, and just a crush of people. And watching, it's a great facility because it has the 2 ice surfaces. And we're going to talk about Connor McDavid a lot, but let's keep each other honest that we talk about many of these young men who potentially have bright futures in the National Hockey League, but it is a little difficult, at least to set tonight up, that we're not talking about number 97. I will continue, and you will continue to talk about the young stars at this event, but before we get to that, it is time for our national anthem, and to handle those honors, let's go to center ice, and here's Kara Sheely.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Nice job by Kara Sheely to get us going here. The place is packed, and we've talked about a bunch of forwards, but let's spend some time on the netminders this evening. Starting for the Vancouver Canucks, unofficially the oldest player in this tournament. It is Clay Witt, who had a strong career at the university level and now is trying to make that transition into the NHL, or at least AHL level. At the other end of the ice, there have been some great Finnish goaltenders in the NHL and some current ones. I think Pekka Rinne, to be exact. 8-2 Laura Kainen, who spent some time in the Western Hockey League, went back to Finland, and now he's back in North America. Joe hoping that he can show the Edmonton Oilers, who are starting to stock their shelves a bit with goaltenders, that he might be one that they can use in there. Who is this guy?
They're lucky, Laurie Kynan and company, that this guy's not shooting on him. He is going to put Clay Witt to the test tonight. Connor McDavid, the first time officially he steps onto the ice in an Edmonton Oilers uniform. He'll go head-to-head tonight with Cole Castles of the Vancouver Canucks. They met each other in the OHL playoffs. Castles did very well to keep McDavid in check in the playoffs. A little bit different now when you're a year older and now officially wearing a pro hockey uniform.
And so Connor will do us the honor of winning the opening faceoff, and we are underway. It is the Edmonton Oilers and Vancouver Canucks, and Jake Virtanen, known as a big hitter. There's one, followed up by Hunter Shinkarik on Mitch Moroz. So the two teams at the NHL level have a healthy rivalry, and it is developing already tonight for the young stars. Mitch Moroz, who will be alongside Connor McDavid. Here goes Connor McDavid, drop pass, Greg Chase. Can't quite handle it. There's already a bit of a burst of speed shown by McDavid to get in all alone, or at least possibly. Back comes Chase. Greg Chase, former member of the Calgary Hitmen, out front to McDavid. And there's Witt with the stop. Back to the point. Shot by Ben Bedker, and Witt again calmly makes the save. So the Oilers with a real big push a minute into this game.
And now Travis Green, the head coach behind the Canucks prospects bench, finally gets to make a line change. The trio of Shinkaruk, Virtanen, and Castles were out there for the first minute.
Oh, what a great start, and the Let's Go Oilers chant has begun, and I'm assuming they'll try and start a Canucks chant as well. Anton Slepyshev gets it back to the point. Wrist shot, blocked out front. Draisaitl looking to get it to Winquist, but it's intercepted, and here come the Canucks. Dane Fox, a former teammate of Connor McDavid with the Erie Otters. The year he was there. Whoa, Fox with the hit on Draisaitl. Shot from the point, blocked by Betker as Jared McCann tried to get that through. The year that Fox was there, well, the one year he had the great year, they had 3 of the top 4 scorers in the league, and it was 99-point season for McDavid with the Otters. Connor Rankin, another Connor who is involved in tonight's contest, will get it in. And so both teams showing some energy as we're just underway. Dmitry Zhukanov tries to get it out, the Oilers, with a forecheck going. Kyle Platzer, who had a successful 2014 Young Stars tournament, out on the ice for Edmonton. Rankin sandwiched by Ashton Sontner and Joe Labate. Platzer digging along with Zhukanov, recent draft pick on the part of the Canucks. Rankin in the corner, pinned on the boards. Things slowing down just a bit after a crazy minute or minute and a half. Colton Waltz keeps it in. Shot by Loic Lovey, and the stop by Witt, who's been the early star.
2:28, the first whistle of the game, and one of the better opportunities so far tonight came from the top line of the Oilers. Greg Chase with the shot, and there was Connor McDavid skating right through that blue paint, looking for any kind of loose change that Witt might have given up. But a good job by Jordan Subban, younger brother of PK Subban, to tie up McDavid's stick, negating the scoring chance.
Richards Bukarts with the shot. It's a stop, and so you talked about Clay Witt might be busy tonight, and already he's made a great save against Connor McDavid. Darnell Nurse, another high pick by the Oilers, 7th overall, 2013, and he will push for a spot on the blue line. Braden Christopher scores! Braden Christopher splits to defense and makes it 1-0 Edmonton.
Braden Christopher, who is one of a handful of players in the Oilers lineup on a free agent tryout this week in Penticton, shows a good burst of speed to gather the puck, crossing into the Canucks zone, going wide, eventually getting through the defense, and a nice snapshot beating Witt on the stick side. Christopher, who hails from the Regina Pats organization in the Western Hockey League, put up 26 goals, 59 points, and didn't miss a single game in the regular season for John Paddock's club in the WHL. He scores the first goal of this tournament for Edmonton.
Spent some time with the Capitals at their rookie camp. Connor McDavid, who's a rookie, tries to get by Subban, can't do it. Betker the shot, with the save. Mitch Mraz and Greg Chase will be alongside Connor McDavid. I don't think that's an accident. Proven goal scorer at the junior level, and Chase and Mitch Mraz, who's a tough customer who just made it through his first pro season with OKC. Cole Castles, who knows McDavid well, as you mentioned, Joe, last year. Oshawa Generals defeating Connor McDavid and the Erie Otters, and as was said in some notes I read, Shinkaruk with the backhand, and the save by Laura Kynan is that Castles kept him to 7 points in 5 games. That tells you the expectations when that's not theoretically a good tournament or a good event or playoff series on the part of McDavid.
Oh, there's a chance for Shinkaruk.
Shinkaruk, oh yeah, the stick was out of the hand of Ethan Bear. Big hit! And that's on Connor McDavid. Virtanen absolutely hammered Connor McDavid and then gave him a tap, and ironically, Virtanen joked. He said, Connor better keep his head up in this tournament, and he didn't there.
They were teammates at the World Junior Championships. Talking with Jake this morning, he says, Connor's a good buddy of mine, but he has to keep his head up, as you mentioned, Gene, and he rocked him with a pretty good bolt just inside the Oilers zone.
Yeah, Connor McDavid did get rocked, and this morning he was asked if anyone might come after him, headhunt. And he said, well, you kind of would have to ask them, not me. Jake Virtanen, let's make it clear, clean hit, no problem. Loic Levay, though, coming back on Jared McCann as the temperature rose all day outside here of the rink, and it's rising inside the rink right now.
Coaches will love this one too. We've just passed the 5-minute mark. We've only had one whistle, so everybody's getting ice time. All 6D for each club. All 4 forward lines already getting over the boards, and some good physical action in the early going.
Well, I know this morning Mitch Moroz says not by accident that I'm on a line with Connor McDavid just in case. And we'll have to see if that leads to anything on the part of Moroz or these two teams.
Here's the hit again. Jake Virtanen, knowing where the puck was, knowing where McDavid was. Good shoulder-to-shoulder collision. McDavid no worse for the wear, and he knows that's coming, whether it's here in Penticton, whether it'll be in the NHL preseason, whether it will be in the NHL regular season. McDavid knows, not necessarily a marked man by any stretch, but he does know that you're going to play against bigger and faster players, and the physical element will be something he has to rise to the occasion for.
It is nothing new for Connor McDavid. He brushes that stuff off quickly. He knows it's important to keep his head up. Josh Winquist stepped in briefly just to make sure there wasn't more happening. Mackenzie Stewart, a converted defenseman to a forward, gives Darnell Nurse a little cross-check and then runs into Joey LaLeggia, a Hobey Baker finalist last year with the University of Denver. McDavid back on the ice with Nurse. And there's chase and more contact on the end on the part of these two teams. Wrist shot and saved by Laura Kainen. Spent a couple of seasons with the Swift Current Broncos before going back to Finland and playing in their elite league. Braden Christopher, the goal scorer, to McDavid. McDavid steps by one, tries to get by another. Taken out cleanly by Ben Hutton. And there's Mitch Moroz, who lost his helmet as he runs into Virtanen. Shot from the point by Betker, and Clay Witt will calm everything down with the glove save as Moroz is lurking around Virtanen.
A little bit of a hit parade here in the early going tonight in this game, as now we've got a little, we'll get to this after seeing the replay here, as Mitch Moroz came into the vicinity right here, catching Virtanen head on, and then Moroz, who had lost his helmet while we were watching the replay, had some words after the whistle for Virtanen, and the referee, Fraser Lawrence, who's working tonight with Kyle Kowalski, has rung him up for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So with 6:32 gone in this first period, the Canucks, trailing by one, have a chance to go to work on their first power play.
Well, Moroz made a little loop-de-loop to go by Virtanen, and then Virtanen kind of gave him a little, I wouldn't call it a slap, just kind of a push with his glove, but it was Mitch Moroz that ends up in the penalty box, and not an unfamiliar place for him, as he led OKC in penalty minutes last year. With Edmonton, he was able to combine offense with the penalties, and that's something he's now trying to do as he segues into his pro career. Already giving Vancouver now a chance, as they've got some power on this power play. Nice play by LaLeggia as he's able to get it down the ice. Saw Joey this morning, said his dad Joe is here. Carla Nonna's here. Mamma mia, come stai, Nonna?
Making the trek up from Burnaby, his hometown.
So many local kids, and for Joey, he played 3 years in Penticton, so his family's used to the trip, and he's used to playing in this arena. Puck kept in by the Canucks. McCann the shot, deflected out front. Back to McCann, shoots it again. No, they hit the mesh, but the outside of the net, not inside. Puck around the board, shot by Fox, and Leon Draisaitl will just smack that down the ice. 7 shots on the part of the Oilers, 1 goal, 6 shots for the Canucks as they look to even this up.
Vancouver's going to change up their power play formation here, bring out their top line up front with Castles centering centering Shinkarik and Virtanen.
Shinkarik lost that puck, and we will continue to watch the developing situation between Jake Virtanen, Mitch Moroz, and the Canucks and the Oilers after a dynamic start to this hockey game. Game 2 of the 2015 Young Stars Tournament. Pass out front, Virtanen just had that kind of go off his stick, but he gets it back, gets it to Subban at the point. Blast goes off an Oiler defenseman, Betker, and then comes out the other way. And there's Nurse running into Virtanen, and there they go, Nurse and Virtanen. Oh, Nurse has got the gloves off. Virtanen has his off. Will anything come of this other than penalty minutes?
No, they're just both going to get minor penalties here, Gene. But Darnell Nurse on the PK, trying to keep Vertanen to the exterior of the zone as they bark away at one another before they make their way off to the sin bin. Fans are into it, and I'll tell you what, Mitch Mraz is into it as well while sitting in the penalty box.
You see Vertanen giving Mraz a little loop with his finger. Mraz is pointing at him saying, well, I don't want to incite violence here, but he's saying, hey, you can't do that to Connor McDavid and not get a reaction. And Jake Vertanen may as well get used to this because it's going to be like this for him. I would think, Joe, the rest of the night. The Oilers have some big, tough customers, and they won't be afraid to step up for Connor McDavid. I mean, Luke Gazdic has the job at home as Connor living with him and Taylor Hall through training camp, and he'll have it in the NHL. But right now, it's Mraz, it's Nurse, and anyone else who wants to step up to Vertanen. And I want to clarify, it was a clean hit.
Oh, yeah.
It was a clean hit, but it's Connor McDavid. Wow,
and it's also Jake Vertanen.
And it's Jake Vertanen, who's a great hockey player as well, with all kinds of upside. And they're friends. It's like a soap opera. Storylines aplenty. Pass out front, deflected. Mike Zaleski tries to get to it. Looks like each team's got a couple of minor penalties out of that. Mitch Mraz is out. Eetu Larakainen doesn't know where it is, but it's not behind him. And there's McDavid, Mraz, and Chase back together. Joe LeBate can't quite get to it, and it's dumped in. Mraz the shot, and that just goes wide. Rodrigo Alba's nearly able to get to it. And there's LaLeggia is able to dump it back in. Finished off his season with OKC. And of course, the Edmonton Oilers changing their affiliate this year as their AHL team will be based in Bakersfield. The Bakersfield Condors, who've been a success story at the minor hockey league level. It's caught up on the back of the net. And Albas will get to it. Try and get it to Mackenzie Stewart. Kyle Pettit, former member of the Erie Otters as well, a teammate of McDavid's. Shot out front, and Sautner with the backhand, and the save by Larakainen.
As you mentioned, Eetu Larakainen, formerly of the Swift Current Broncos of the Western Hockey League, in his final season in Swift Current, put up some outstanding numbers in the way of goals against and save percentage in Speedy Creek. But as Gene mentioned, went back home to Finland to play a year of pro hockey, then wound up signing a contract with the Oilers. So he's one of 3 Edmonton goaltenders that are here this week. And at the other end of the ice, Clay Witt has just recently signed an American League hockey deal with the Vancouver Canucks. He is one of 2 goaltenders this week in Penticton wearing Canuck colors. The other is West Kelowna native and Kelowna Rockets 20-year-old puck stopper Jackson Whistle.
Well, the Oilers have brought 3 goaltenders to this tournament. Jordan Paperny, Brandon Weekings, and Kevin Bouchard, a draftee of theirs. Draisaitl to Slepyshev. Betker the shot, and that goes up and over Witt. Anton Slepyshev, one of those sort of unknowns on the part of the Oilers, who spent his entire life and career overseas, and lots of excitement about him, but a lot of uncertainty as to what kind of player he is and will be as that trickles in to Larakainen. We're just short of the midway point of this opening period between Vancouver and Edmonton. If you've missed the first 9 minutes and 58 seconds, you missed a lot, Joe.
Yeah, lots of hitting. Nice goal by Brandon Christopher to open the scoring for Edmonton. And this guy's been kept busy as well. Jordan Subban is on the ice usually when Connor McDavid is. He's faced him a couple of times head on, negated some scoring chances. You know, he'll be busier as the night moves along.
Colton Waltz with the hit, kind of ping-pongs around, and now Rankin can't quite get to it. Subban, who had a 25-goal season with Belleville, that is a franchise record. And he's, I wouldn't call him a wild card, but everyone's still trying to figure out where he will fit. Obviously, got lots of offensive talent, but can he play at the pro game? And he's trying to make an impact right here. 2, 3, 4, 5 bodies in the corner, and Subban comes out with it. He'll get it to Mike Zaleski, who made his National Hockey League debut, in fact, a couple of seasons ago against the Edmonton Oilers in a 5-2 loss, very, very late in the season. Zaleski's got it back, being pressured by LaLeggia. Subban waits, shoots, over Rankin, but not through Eetu Laurikainen, as we are through the first 10 minutes and 46 seconds. Reminder that we are at the 2015 Young Stars Tournament, and our title sponsor is Sport Chek.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours. And it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you, and they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down, make an excuse, let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up? And get to work.
Connor McDavid with the best chance to open up the scoring for Edmonton. Clay Witt made a great stop. He had a nice drop pass to Greg Chase, but really the story around number 97 has nothing to do with offense, Joe, but it had to do with a physical play on the part of Jake Virtanen,
who stood him up pretty nicely along the boards in the Edmonton zone. And after that, Mitch Moreau's, a line mate of McDavid's a few shifts later, caught him with a good hit. And then Nurse and Virtanen tried to get a hold of one another, but the linesman would come in to separate. So there's been a little bit of bite in the game so far, and I'm not at all surprised when you've got a full house here at the South Okanagan Event Center. The guys in blue know full well who that guy is in white, knowing that a lot of people have come here to see him this weekend. They want to make life difficult for him, playing his first ever game in an Edmonton Oilers.
Well, you know, you always hear, Joe, that, you know, guys, whether they're teenagers who are 20s or 30s, no friends on the ice, no friends on the ice. And you always wonder what that's like, to suddenly turn it off and the jersey doesn't have a name or a number. It's just the opposing player. And we'll have to wait post-game if Jake Virtanen had enough time to notice that was Connor McDavid. And if so, he just decided, well, no friends on the ice, I'm following through. I'm trying to make the Vancouver Canucks take notice of me. And I will say this, I don't think either team wants to see a brouhaha develop. They do want their players protected. I'm not sure after injury issues whether the Canucks would want Virtanen getting into one or two fights.
No, not at all. And by the way, this year at this tournament, there is a two-fight rule. If players get in more than one scrap in a single game, they get an automatic game misconduct.
Which is appropriate for this event. This isn't... Oh, Connor Rankin gets run over by Joe LeBate. And there's Cole Sanford getting into LeBate. Is Connor Rankin just trying to make sure he's not cut? I'm quite certain, Joe, that the Edmonton Oilers will be on their first power play as LeBate has himself in the penalty box.
Yeah, it's going to be an interference call here. Took a little bit of a run at Connor Rankin right in front of the penalty box. Rankin, okay, will get his lid back on, but here you see him catching, spinning around looking for the puck, and LeBate knew where the puck was, but more importantly, he knew where the man was, and Rankin never saw him coming. LeBate, who's making his Young Stars debut for Vancouver. LeBate, originally drafted by the Vancouver Canucks in 2011, went through a full 4 years of college hockey at the University of Wisconsin, has signed a pro contract, finished off last year's season with the Utica Comets in the American Hockey League, and he is making his Young Stars debut tonight here in Penticton.
The Oilers going with four forwards, the number one line, and Anton Slepyshev along with Darnell Nurse on the blue line. So the Oilers looking to add to their 1-0 lead, and it's not a surprise that McDavid along with Mraz and Chase are up front. Slepyshev working the sideboards. Right now Chase is at the blue line, but it's almost Nurse by himself. McDavid waiting to Nurse. Slepyshev back to Nurse, the shot, and that's blocked by Cole Castles, who did that and more for the Oshawa Generals on their way to the MasterCard Memorial Cup in a win in the final against Kelowna. Leon Draisaitl among the Rockets that suffered that crushing defeat. Now it's Nurse calmly back at his blue line about halfway through the Joe LeBate 2-minute minor. Oilers changing up their personnel, and spoke of Draisaitl. He's out there, and good to see Connor Rankin out there as well after taking that hit. That puck is deflected right to Witt. Darnell Nurse still on the ice as he's had an extended shift with the man advantage. Draisaitl waiting. There's Cole Sanford, a 50-goal scorer at the WHL level, tipped out front. And Nurse, who may end up going a full 2 minutes here. No, it looks like he will decide to make a change after about a minute 35 shift on the power play. The Canucks doing a nice job of getting themselves nearly through this entire minor penalty. The Oilers may have one more rush in them, but Ben Hutton will take care of that.
Pretty good job by the Canucks penalty kill, keeping Edmonton contained to the outside, not letting any traffic get in and around the blue paint of the crease of Clay Witt to this point.
And there's Draisaitl trying to go wide on Subban. LeBate is out of the penalty box, and so the Canucks do a nice job of killing off that penalty. There's Subban, has been on the ice a lot already tonight. Oh, trying to go around LaLeggia, and LaLeggia just got his right skate out to prevent Subban from going around him. Richard Bucharts trying to get it across to the goal scorer, Braden Christopher. Alexis Loiseau goes in, and there's Bucharts. Back to the point, Betker, wrist shot off the stick of Clay Witt, who's had a little bit of a quieter time after a busy offensive start for Edmonton. Betker again, that'll go wide. Christopher trying to control on the far boards, and the Canucks will just chip that out. And there's big Ben Betker, run into by Virtanen. Christopher looking for help. Change on the way as Sanford coming on to the ice a little late. Christopher out for Sanford. Shot by Loiseau. Witt didn't know where it was. He's still not sure where it is. But the Canucks able to see it first in the case of Hunter Shinkaruk, and they get it out.
I think that might have hit the post. We'll have to catch the replay at the stoppage, but it did definitely get behind the Canucks netminder.
Loic Levay sidesteps Jake Virtanen. Ooh, big hit. Is Rankin taken in hard. On the boards by Mackenzie Stewart. Now it's Rodrigo Abels, the breakaway, saved by Laura Kynan. Abels in all alone in between the center ice and blue line, but Laura Kynan makes the stop to keep it 1-0 Edmonton. And there's Rankin, who's been involved in many different ways already this evening. Poke check by Anton Cederholm, Kyle Platzer, there's Winquist. Rankin, oh, tries to go short side, but the area blocked off by Witt, and a little more extracurricular stuff happening after that whistle.
Going to get a look at the chances at both ends of the ice here. And the first one, this is all the traffic in and around the crease of Witt, and indeed, golden opportunity right at the doorstep for Cole Sanford. And then at the other end of the ice, Rodrigo Abels wanted to go stick side, and Laurie Kynan got the shaft of his stick onto the puck somehow to keep it from getting into the net. Abels, who's here on a free agent tryout, a Latvian-born forward who is playing in the Western Hockey League this season with the Portland Winterhawks, the first real good scoring chance of the night for the Canucks.
Played for his dad, Artis, and he was now coaching in Riga, is Rodrigo Alba's father. The captain, Darnell Nurse, to LaLeggia. This is one of those pairings that certainly piques the interest of Oiler fans to see the junior player and Nurse alongside a college standout in LaLeggia. Jake Virtanen again lurking. Boy, has he been a menace so far in this period.
Darnell Nurse is lucky he saw him at the last second to get out of the way. That could have been very unfortunate for the player wearing the captaincy for the Oilers.
Subban the shot, and that goes high over Laura Kynan, and I would expect that the Canucks are impressed with Virtanen and that he hasn't shied away from anything since his hit on McDavid. And there's a little shot to the head of Virtanen by Chase.
A little bit of a shoulder to the chin of Chase on Virtanen. Former teammates, by the way, when they were together with the Calgary Hitmen.
Well, the two of them had a long chat at center ice in the warm-up, and it was a friendly one. I'm not sure if they chat again. It'll be as friendly as Mitch Mraz nearly just ran over the Vancouver Canuck forward. Mraz will dump it in. Chase. And there's McDavid, who, by the way, looks none the worse for wear after what happened. Nurse at the point. Gets around Zaleski, and then his shot goes into the corner. Zhukanov tried to get it deep. Instead, it's Abos. Will he get to it? He will. Cederholm up with him. And Abos will just keep it. And there is Cederholm. Shot from the point, deflected, up and over the glass and out of play.
Inside 3 minutes to go here of this first period. 11-9, the shots on goal favoring Vancouver, but this game is being talked about for the physical brand of hockey to this point. And there you see a high late elbow by Greg Chase that just grazed the chin of Jake Virtanen, and the referee had a pretty good look at it.
We saw it. I don't know.
Saw it.
He looked like he saw it.
Decided to keep his arm down. Don't have anybody keeping track on the hit category tonight, but it's got to be close to double digits for both teams through the first 17 plus minutes of this game.
Well, and you know, the one hit everyone's been talking about, will continue to talk about, and has had the biggest impact on this game was the one by Virtanen on McDavid. Pass out front, Christopher, Alexis Loiseau, as Braden Christopher nearly added to his point total with an assist after opening up the scoring. Legit trying to get away, and he gets a Canucks sandwich there on the part of Pettit. And Pettit also got some help from Brendan Gaunce. Now Betker with lots of time gets it ahead to Loiseau, who will just tap it in. And there's some more physical play. Brisebois, Guillaume Brisebois, taken hard into the end boards. Brisebois will, I guess, always be known as the player who was drafted with the pick acquired from Carolina for Eddie Lack.
Making his Young Stars Classic debut tonight. Had a great season playing in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, but looking to make the step up here.
Draisaitl, Colton Waltz with the shot. The rebound, Winquist couldn't quite corral it. Leon Draisaitl, really known for having a great set of hands, especially on the backhand. What a passer. Subban the shot, and that comes out at a weird angle, but there's Nurse sidestepping a stick, as well as Gaunce. And he'll get it ahead to Draisaitl. Flips it towards the net, and Witt will just blocker that into the corner. Mraz and Gaunce, Subban and Chase. McCann actually in there. Gaunce on the ice, but it was McCann involved with Chase as we are moving into the final minute of play in this opening period between the Edmonton Oilers Young Stars and the Vancouver Canucks Young Stars. And so far, only one goal. Dumped in by Cederholm. Virtanen with LaLeggia. Castle's there as well. Well known, the son of former NHLer Andrew Castles, 16-year career after being a first-round pick in 1987 by the Montreal Canadiens.
One-time Vancouver Canuck.
When I have chance, I'm going to check and see how many teams he played for. I think it's 7, but I have to clarify. There's Virtanen, little dipsy doodle, gets it to the point. Ashton Sontner played for the Edmonton Oil Kings. That's stopped but not corralled by Larakainen, and then Shinkarik gets run into by McDavid. It's a pretty solid hit by McDavid. Sent down the ice, and that'll be icing with just under 6 seconds left.
Couple of chances for the Oilers. Richards, Bucharts, nice pass to Christopher, and Loiseau had an unbelievable opportunity, just couldn't get the puck to the blade. And then a long-range chance by Leon Draisaitl. Missing the target.
I just want to ask our staff, we do have Todd McClellan coming up.
Todd McClellan, the new
head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. What do you think the first question will be?
You're going to have to ask Tom Gazzola.
Yeah, Tom Gazzola, that good-looking guy who brings the average age of the broadcast down a bit.
Way down.
He'll talk to Todd McClellan. I'm guessing there may be a question about a hit, McDavid. We'll have to wait and see. Wow, entertaining, exciting, dynamite action on the part of Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers as he looks to see what's going on, and it continues. Greg Chase now chatting at center ice with Jordan Subban. The Edmonton Oilers are not at all happy with what happened to Connor McDavid, and it is just beginning. The Vancouver Canucks don't have a goal, but have certainly stirred things up as the host team. We are through 20 minutes of action between Vancouver and Edmonton. Braden Christopher with the only goal as the Oilers lead the Canucks through one period of play in the second game of the doubleheader of the 2015 NHL Young Stars Tournament.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours. And it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you, and they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down, make an excuse, let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up? And get to work.
Three, two, one. Oh my gosh. You know, it's pretty cool. It's kind of the same as when, you know, little kids come into our dressing room or something like that. And, you know, for us, it's going to them and they're pretty excited to show us what they have.
You lay down to sight the weapon in and you'll figure out where you'll want that, where it's going to be at.
Some guys got to go on the fastboat, but we just went on that one. It's more just for, you know, travel, just for a little group of guys. And the fastboat was for the guys, you know, going to, I think, take over a ship, and they have 6 or 7 guys on there, and they're going to actually make an attack on another ship.
You're gonna say 3, 2, 1, and then you're gonna push the red button.
Okay.
And then it'll pop down there.
Okay. As soon as the button goes green, then I can count down 3, 2, 1, and then hopefully something goes off. So, yeah, should be good. 1!
So now we'll do the other shot with the robot there.
The bomb squad was pretty fascinating to see stuff they have to do, and there's only 2 of them they set on a job, so they got to trust each other. And, you know, having one guy go in and inspect it, and then one guy either controlling the robot or something like that. I think there's only 6 guys, they said, that do that in this side of Canada.
We're coming down here into a potentially deadly situation, so we really have to keep on top of our professional training and our physical training to make sure that we can put this on in a pinch and not even think that we have an 80-pound suit on us and just work.
Helmets? No. The helmet's so much more heavy. Oh, that one. Arms are weak. That's how I got his arm already. Yeah. Come with the thighs. Right there? Okay.
In a moment, you'll hear the room flash up. It'll get a bit noisy. That's just the plotted lights lighting.
Yeah, that looked pretty scary, not gonna lie. You know, it was pretty dark in there, and then the flames came up. I know the guys were kind of backing out when the fire came up, but it looked pretty cool to be in there.
At this point, the room's going to start to heat up. If you put your hand up high, feel the heat signature, and go down low. Much cooler. That's why you always want to stay on your knees to fight a fire.
The belt fully for that. You got it down.
Yeah, it was just a competition, you know, blowing the wood off there, blowing the wood up, and then whoever filled the bucket up first. Me and Kyle didn't have the most skill. We were out first round there, so I think we're gonna have to work on that.
Welcome back. Just about set for second period action, but a look back at period one, Joe. It had a lot of great elements, starting with the opportunity for Connor McDavid to get his first goal in an Oiler uniform.
Yeah, denied by Canucks puck stopper Clay Witt, but Witt was not able to be equal to the task for Brandon Christopher. The Regina Pats forward goes top shelf, and then the big talking point was that hit right there. Jake Virtanen standing up, Connor McDavid, a couple of looks at it, got people talking, it got the Oilers bench talking, and then before you knew it, a little more action at both ends of the rink. Witt having to come up with a little bit of a lucky stop there with Cole Sanford in the vicinity, and then Rodrigo Abels got free. The Latvian forward trying to go far side on Lauri Kainen, denied by the goaltender, as we're getting back to action here in Penticton with the Oilers leading the Canucks 1-0.
McDavid is fine. Mitch Moroz with Virtanen at center ice. They're looking at each other. Are they going to go? Virtanen skates away. Moroz gives him a little tap, and we'll get back to the action, which currently has Darnell Nurse behind the net. And by the way, we apologize for some technical difficulties, but we do have the hardest working crew, and they have worked hard to get this back up and running. It is a big game, and lots of people are watching it on the respective websites of the teams, as well as on sportsnet.ca. The shot by Jake Virtanen. That is the second hardest shot he's taken so far tonight. And Laura Kainen will corral that and control it. So the number one lines for each team starting out period number two.
We should mention that this hard-working crew working behind the scenes isn't just from the broadcast crews for the Edmonton Oilers and Vancouver Canucks. It's also from the Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets. All four teams coming together here in the South Okanagan. Good action on the ice, good eats off the ice. Good hockey through the first 21 minutes tonight in this second game. Edmonton and Vancouver. The first game, in case you missed it earlier today, saw Calgary defeat Winnipeg 3-1.
Shot right off the face-off by Jared McCann, and Eetu Laurakainen was up to the task. If you Google Eetu or Eetu, the first thing you'll see is Eetu Solani, the son of Teemu Solani, and then you'll see Laurakainen. Ethan Bear, drafted at the 2015 proceedings in Fort Lauderdale. In fact, had a birthday on the Friday and got drafted on a Saturday. Happy birthday, Ethan, who is expected to be the number one defenseman this upcoming year for the Seattle Thunderbirds. Slepyshev tries to get it to Draisaitl. Draisaitl waiting out front. Scores! Josh Winquist on the doorstep to make it 2-0 Edmonton.
The former Everett Silvertip forward who last year playing in the American Hockey League and East Coast Hockey League had no trouble with a gaping cage staring him in the face. It was Draisaitl down on the goal line, centering it in front towards Slepyshev. It pinballed off a stick or a skate right to a wide open Josh Winquist. No chance for Witt. Easy tuck away for Winquist, and it's 2-0 Edmonton, nearing the 2-minute mark of period two.
Improved player with Everett. And when you're a most improved player in anything, that means you're a hard worker. And Josh Winquist is that, as he will settle in, or is expected to this year in the AHL with Bakersfield. Lots of excitement in the Oilers organization. That new setup with the division rivalry and teams being located, geographically speaking, much closer to each other. Mike Zaleski run into by Rankin, who was run into in the first period. He appears to be okay. Cederholm, the shot, that gets through. But Laurakainen will make the stop. 5 of the 6 defensemen playing tonight for the Canucks are drafted. Only one is undrafted, and more mid-round picks, Joe. The forwards, a lot of them are first-round picks, but the D-men are 4-, 5-round selections.
Every one of the Vancouver Canucks defensemen at this Young Stars Classic, as Edmonton's whistle on and offside, every one of the Canucks blue liners is either drafted or signed. So they really feel that they're starting to stock the shelves with their depth on their blue line, something that was criticized by many over the past couple of years. And there's players that are playing with the Canucks big team now that have had experience playing at this Young Stars Classic over the past number of years. Frankie Corrado, of course, comes to mind, who had a couple of great performances here in this building the past couple of years on the point.
There's Pettit trying to get it in front to Larakainen, but he was able to stack the pad by the post. Pettit expected to get way more opportunity this year with Connor McDavid playing with Edmonton and Dylan Strome settling in the desert. And it's been a lot of change for the Vancouver Canucks. And we want to say hello to Willie Desjardins as we see Ben Hutton. Willie recovering from hip surgery.
Was hoping to be here in Penticton to attend the tournament, but yes, has had successful surgery. We'll have a recovery period of a few weeks, and hopefully we'll see him back behind the Canucks bench in the preseason. Won't be going to the Canucks
Prince George
camp in PG, but we will see him back behind the bench in short order. So we know he's watching his future players tonight. I'm sure he's liked what he's seen out of the Canucks so far, despite being down by 2 goals here to Edmonton.
Yeah, Glenn Gulletson, a former National Hockey League head coach, will sort of run things. Oh, Virtanen runs over Darnell Nurse. Wow, Jake Virtanen, an absolute wrecking ball this evening. And Nurse is a huge, huge young man. Fox the shot. Oh, and then he gets taken in by Ben Betker as Fox kind of ran into the post and the boards, but Larakainen able to make the stop.
Dane Fox had one of the better opportunities in this game for Vancouver. Took the stretch pass right up the middle. Was being caught up to by Betker, so he released the snapshot, which Larakainen handled easily. Dane Fox comes into this tournament after playing his first pro season at the ECHL level with Kalamazoo. He had 30 goals and 45 points to go with 110 penalty minutes in 70 games last year for the Kalamazoo K-Wings.
2013, he signed a deal. There's McDavid trying to get in, chasing the puck and getting it. There's McDavid out front, tries to go to his backhand, he does, but that pass intercepted by Fox. Former teammate, as mentioned earlier, with the Erie Otters. Shot deflected as Gaunce has it go wide. Play a little scrambly here. Back to the point, but that will come out. Yeah, Fox had an incredible year. 61 goals.
2 years ago in his final OHL campaign with the Erie Otters. Probably helped that he got set up by Connor McDavid a few times when Connor was a 16-year-old that season.
Yeah, McDavid last year, by the way, 53 points in 18 games, just under 3 points a game prior to breaking his hand in a fight. He was on pace for somewhere between 195, maybe as high as 200. Only 11 players have ever scored 200 points in a junior season, led by some guy named Mario Lemieux, 268. Ridiculous. But he is Mario Lemieux. Things have settled down a little bit after a haywire opening period and a start with Mitch Moroz and Jake Virtanen. I mean, Virtanen continues to lay the body. 6'1", 212. Big teenager.
He knows that if he's going to start with the big club in the National Hockey League this year, that playing against older, more experienced players, he'll have to bring a physical element if he wants to stay with the team and try to avoid going back for another year of major junior hockey with the Calgary Hitmen.
Pettit shot deflected by Luc Loive out front. Mackenzie Stewart just lost track of it. Otherwise, he would have had a glorious chance. And there's Rodrigo Albos, who I would say had the best opportunity so far tonight for Vancouver. Had a clear-cut breakaway, and Larakainen made the stop. There's Stewart again, bumped into by Rankin. Kyle Platzer with a successful 2014 tournament here in Penticton. Rankin the shot deflected, and that will go off the mesh and then back into play. It's whistled down.
You talk about Connor Rankin. Spent last year splitting time in the Western Hockey League with the Calgary Hitmen. Prior to that with the Tri-City Americans. Put up a lot of points in junior hockey. 32 goals, 79 points. Didn't miss a single game in the regular season, trying to find his way in to pro hockey. He's here on a tryout like a number of Oilers players are tonight this weekend.
A Game 7 hat trick is what he had against Kootenay, a natural hat trick. And then he injured his ankle and couldn't play in the second round. So a disappointing end for his team and for Rankin. You talked about invites. The Oilers with 8 invites. Last year only 3. So taking a bit of a different approach when it comes to maybe finding some gems or diamonds in the rough. Virtanen the shot. And Laura Kynan will make the save, and then Darnell Nurse just gives him a little tap on the skates just to let him know he's still around.
You know, to follow up on what you were just talking about, the Oilers, a lot of their invitees here instead of drafts or free agent signings, they've had a lot of their kids that have already played professional hockey, whether it be at the NHL, whether it's in the American Hockey League. And Jake Virtanen getting another shot on net here. He's quickly rising his hit totals as this game moves along, but he is known more as an offensive threat. Virtanen last season in a shortened, injury-filled season had 21 goals and averaged a point per game with the Calgary Hitmen. First-round pick 2 years ago. Again, in case you missed it, this is his first game wearing a Canucks jersey, as he wasn't here at this tournament last year recovering from shoulder surgery.
12:52 left in this period. Mike Zaleski, one of those players, kind of a depth player, called up in an emergency situation to make his debut against the Edmonton Oilers a couple of years ago on an AHL deal. Actually played a couple of seasons in Vernon, despite the fact he's from the USA. And there he is with a big hit in the corner. There's Cederholm. Back. He's able to sidestep the hit. There's Bear. Somewhat dangerous pass, but it is not intercepted. Now Alexis Loiseau with a great chance in the opening period. That's blocked by Cederholm. Braden Christopher scored the opening goal for Edmonton. It's been an effective forechecking line for Edmonton, the one with Christopher and Loiseau. Joey LaLeggia, mentioned a Hobey Baker finalist. University of Denver has won 7 national championships, only 1 ever Hobey Baker winner. Nurse going end to end and tried to receive that pass from Chase, and it is Matt Carl, who's had a fairly successful National Hockey League career. There's Fox, just dump it in. McCann and LaLeggia. Oh, nice pass by McCann. The shot, oh, that just rings off the goalpost. Brendan Gaunce after a super pass by McCann. Ashton Sontner, long lead pass, waiting for help, none coming. Chase with some space, waiting for Mraz. And Chase is knocked off the puck by Subban. Nice strength on the part of Subban against Chase. Virtanen has that intercepted by Sherwood Park kid.
Icing called here against Edmonton. There you see Ben Hutton. Talk more about him in a moment, but awesome setup, blind backhand pass by Jared McCann to Brendan Gaunce, rattling it off the post. Gaunce, this is his 3rd Young Stars Classic for the Vancouver Canucks after being a first-round draft pick 3 years ago. Set up there by Jared McCann, who tonight makes his first appearance in Canuck colors after missing last year's Young Stars Classic with a bout of mono. That line's look pretty solid tonight. Now we're going to have a fight.
There's Mraz.
And Mackenzie Stewart.
Oh, there's the right hand, Mackenzie Stewart. Oh, and down goes Mraz. Well, Mitch Mraz got the one right hand in, and Mackenzie Stewart kind of flipped him like a salad and sent him to the ice. And that's been brewing since, well, you know since when.
Mackenzie Stewart, who will get a nice round of applause for the Penticton faithful here at the South Okanagan Event Center, is not afraid to drop the gloves. And he went into a pretty high category with that guy, Mitch Moroz, who's a couple of years older than the former D-man turned forward. And you're right, Stewart had a couple of shots early. Moroz connected with one in return. But these two guys are not afraid to bring this element to their game. Nobody worse for the wear. Both players will rest their knuckles for 5 minutes. Mackenzie Stewart, you see there, playing with the Prince Albert Raiders, Gene. I don't know if he ever fought Mitch Moroz in Moroz's final season with the Edmonton Oil Kings, but if he did, it probably was a highlight reel scrap, because a few of Mackenzie Stewart's tilts have been of the highlight variety. A former D-man turned forward. Last player drafted by the Canucks 2 years ago has come leaps and bounds.
Yeah, and a lot of back and forth between the two. Moroz 169 penalty minutes with OKC. And he's a player the Edmonton Oilers have high hopes for, Joe. Mackenzie Stewart, future to be told yet on the part of the Vancouver Canucks, but Moroz is someone the Oilers would love to have playing with them in the next few years. Big, strong, has had some success offensively. It's just about finding his game and translating what he did at the WHL level to the NHL level. And it looks like Fox
is going to come over and serve, I believe, an instigator penalty here for Mackenzie Stewart. So that would come with it a 10-minute misconduct. So Stewart's just waving goodbye to Mitch Moroz. There is a 2-fight rule in the Young Stars Classic.
But not on the broadcast.
But not on the broadcast.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Mackenzie Stewart just, I mean, the hand waving, some of the stuff going on by these kids tonight is somewhat entertaining. Not if you're on the end of it like Moroz was there. That just incites you a bit. But here's the Oilers on a power play trying to up the advantage. It is McDavid, Chase, Josh Winquist. There's McDavid trying to corral that puck, but that is batted down the ice by Guillaume Brisebois. And the fans boo.
Reacting to the call on the instigator penalty on the fighting major for Mackenzie Stewart.
There's McDavid. Connor McDavid trying to get through out front. Oh, McDavid showing some of that #1 pick talent there. As he was screaming in on goal. He has shown, not surprisingly, a few real flashes of the reason he is who he is. Finished third in the OHL in scoring this year. I'm guessing he would have finished a little bit higher. You know, one thing I like about McDavid, for all the things we talk about in his on-ice persona, smart kid.
Yeah, off-ice
graduated high school.
Great.
Yeah, got a lot going for him. I know he's got a lot going for him on the ice, but there's a lot going for him off the ice as well. Draisaitl just loses the handle on that. He's sent down the ice, and so McDavid, Chase, and Slapyshev head to the bench. The Oilers down to their final 30 seconds. Ethan Bear can't get it to Draisaitl. Bounces around a bit. Recovered by Rankin. Shot deflected by Carl Neal. LaLeggia at the point. Working the blue line. Draisaitl, oh, nice little pass there to Cole Sanford, who just deflected that wide. Oilers recover. LaLeggia the wrist shot. And Clay Witt gets his glove up near his mask to make the stop.
Oilers are, while still on the power play for 7 more seconds, are going to make a goaltending change. The Oilers are with 3 goalies at this tournament as we take a look at Leon Draisaitl's power play opportunity, redirect by Sanford that just went wide. The Oilers have 3 goalies here at the tournament. Only one of them has been drafted, and that's the goaltender that's in the crease now, Kevin Bouchard. From the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League's Val-d'Or Fourier was picked in the 7th round last year, had 15 wins out of 36 games. So he comes in for A2 Laurikainen, who turned aside all 16 shots the Canucks put his way through a period and a half.
Yeah, impressive by Laurikainen. Oh, down goes one of the referees as the Oilers try and add to their lead. Rankin gets a push from the back. He's sent into Witt. LaLeggia looks great along that blue line, just sort of moving his feet, keeping the puck moving. Bear the shot, deflected in front. Rankin bangs away at it. But Hutton will get to it and get it out of trouble. Now the Canucks with a 2, maybe 3-on-1 shot. And that goes high over Bouchard by McCann. And so it's the Oilers the other way with a 2-on-1. Draisaitl scores! Leon Draisaitl trying to make the pass, but instead It goes off Ben Hutton and in behind Clay Witt.
Well, this all starts at the other end of the ice. Jared McCann leading a 3-on-1 rush, fails to even hit the target, and the puck bounces so hard off the end boards it comes to Draisaitl in the neutral zone. And an attempted cross-zone pass to find a teammate, Christopher, goes accidentally off the stick of Ben Hutton and behind Clay Witt. Draisaitl will take it. It's 3-0 Oilers with 8 to play in period 2.
Well, Leon Draisaitl coming off an incredible run with the Kelowna Rockets. Western Hockey League playoff MVP. Bertanen gets it out front. Castles can't get to it. 28 points in the playoffs for the Rockets, tying him with Nick Patan for the Western Hockey League postseason scoring crown. Then had 5 more in the MasterCard Memorial Cup and voted the winner of the Stafford Smythe Trophy. So Edmonton's decision to send him to junior worked out well. Brisebois hesitated. Christopher's got it already with 1 goal, looking for a second. Drop pass. Oh, what a play! But Clay Witt is able to get across on that opportunity for Buchards. McDavid, first one in. Just to wrap it around the boards, and now Draisaitl. Well, you know, Draisaitl might make the Oilers this year as a winger, and here he is on the wing with McDavid and Chase.
A little bit of a showcase.
To Chase, there's McDavid, can't find it. Witt makes the stop. Second time tonight, Clay Witt has robbed Connor McDavid of his first goal in an Edmonton Oilers uniform.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours. And it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you, and they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down, make an excuse, let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up? And get to work.
Well, here's a look at the Vancouver Canucks' recent draft class from the draft in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. A couple of the players you see with yellow notes next to them are not here, and that includes forward Brock Besser, who was selected 23rd overall. Those players are playing college hockey and as a result are not allowed to play in this Young Stars tournament for Vancouver. One player that is here is Dmitry Zhukanov. We'll talk about him more in a moment, but General Manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Jim Benning, who you see sitting next to President of Hockey Operations, Trevor Linden, pretty happy with the draft class. They didn't have a second-round pick, but they did get a player they coveted quite highly in Brock Besser, also a defenseman, Guillaume Brisebois, and the player that they're also very, very interested to see develop in North America is number 80, Dmitry Zhukanov, who on the bench right now, can't spot him, but he's come from Russia and will be playing in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League this year. So really interested to see what a player like that can do coming over from Europe and familiar surroundings to hone his game and grow up on and off the ice playing in North America.
Well, no Eddie Lack, no Kevin Bieksa, no Zach Kassian. 13 new players since those 2 men we just saw on TV. Jim Benning and Trevor Linden took over the Vancouver Canucks. Nurse will not quite get that out. Oilers get another shot at it. And there's Draisaitl again on the wing as Mitch Moroz sits in the penalty box. The belief is that with McDavid, with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as the top 2 centermen, that if Leon is to get an appropriate amount of playing time, that it might be on the wing. Here's McDavid Going wide. Tries to slip it through the other side to Chase. That's intercepted.
The reason as well why we're seeing Draisaitl playing here is Mitch Moroz is still in the penalty box, having served his fighting major. He has started this game playing up front with McDavid and Chase. But you're right, a good opportunity for McDavid to now to sit next to Draisaitl on the bench, skate with him for a few shifts. And you're right, because if Leon is to try to earn a full-time roster spot with the big club this fall, he might have to be out of his comfort zone a little bit and playing in a different position. Why not have him see what it's like here at an event like this weekend in Penticton before they get ready to start playing against bigger and tougher competition in the preseason?
Draisaitl at last year's tournament, Oiler fans may remember in the third period of the opening game he left sort of mysteriously, and he said he was just cramped up and he couldn't move. In fact, this morning he said even his forearms were cramping, and so he just didn't know what was wrong. As it turned out, it was just one of those things, and he certainly recovered to play well. One of the Edmonton Oilers who was at their development camp, Loic Lovey, a high-scoring defenseman in Cape Breton. They call him the Tank. 6 foot and somewhere around 228 pounds. So he's certainly built like one.
Yep.
We'll see if he can run over people like one. Slepyshev waiting for Winquist to win the draw. He does, but it is intercepted there by Hunter Shinkarik. Slepyshev pushed into the boards, gets back up and has it. Controlling the puck, goes to the point. It'll get to LeVay, whose shot is actually stopped by Slepyshev. Winquist looking for Anton Slepyshev, who shoots right but likes to play the left wing. Shinkarik, and there's Zaleski, and that goes off to the side of the net. Slepyshev and Hutton meet on the near boards. Zaleski trying to get it deep. Instead, the Oilers will get it, and Slepyshev will, with his body, get it out. Under 5 minutes to play in period number 2. The Oilers at this point in control by a score of 3-0. Jordan Subban loses an edge, but shows that he's still got the edge with his stick. Boy,
he's had a good game.
Oh, he's a good-looking player. It's just a matter of seeing whether this all translates to the NHL.
Obviously comes from some good bloodlines with his older brothers, PK and Malcolm, well into their professional careers. But Jordan, now at the age of 20, getting ready to step into pro hockey full-time, and he'll likely be playing for Travis Green and the Utica Comets this fall.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Travis Green, who's speaking of young stars when it comes to coaches, he would be one of those. Only 44 years old and has done nothing but succeed, nearly winning a MasterCard Memorial Cup after filling in for current Pittsburgh coach Mike Johnson after what happened in Portland, getting all the way to Saskatoon in 2013 before they were beaten by a possessed Nathan McKinnon, who had himself an incredible tournament. And speaking of Seth Jones, who I had on my mind because McKinnon supplanted him, Caleb Jones, a younger brother of Seth, is with the Edmonton Oilers at this tournament. Did not skate this morning, so we'll wait to see if he plays either tomorrow or Monday. And more penalties on the way. Nurse involved behind the net.
And Dane Fox is going to be getting a penalty here, battling for the puck. Referee Fraser Lawrence with his arm raised in the air. Dane Fox, who had quite a memorable fight last year at the Young Stars tournament. The Vancouver Canucks had him mic'd up that game. So it was a little bit of editing required in the audio of that fight when we replayed it. It became a YouTube sensation. Here's a look down low on the camera angle as Fox knocking Bucharts from behind on the cross check. So this is going to put Edmonton on their third power play of the night, looking to build on their 3-0 lead with a little more than 3 minutes to go in this second period.
Well, you mentioned that he's already been in there once, replacing Mackenzie Stewart. This time he earned it. He's one of those players, Slepyshev, gloves out ahead to McDavid. He lets it go, and Sautner gets it. And Brisebois won't quite be able to get it out, but Fox will have to find that line, right? You know he can score, you mentioned it, but he gets lots of penalty minutes. So it's important to stay on the ice, which is where McDavid is right now. To Slepyshev. Connor McDavid, so far no points tonight on the Edmonton Oilers' 3 goals. Slepyshev out front, chase, stick broken, McDavid digs it out. And so now the Canucks down a man and down a stick. Shot from the point, scores! Darnell Nurse with the goal! And Connor McDavid with the primary assist as the Oilers now lead 4-0.
Last year at this time, Edmonton Oilers fans were talking about that guy. And they haven't been talking about him a lot, and maybe that's a bit of a mistake because he's wearing the captaincy at this tournament for a reason. Darnell Nurse was able to get a pass from Connor McDavid. I had to take just a quick glance to look where the big D-man was. Had traffic in front, Nurse letting the shot go. Morose and Chase were in the vicinity trying to set the screen. Clay Witt doesn't see it. And Darnell Nurse is able to cash in on the power play. 4-0 Oilers. A little more than 2 minutes to play here in period 2.
Well, I just said McDavid didn't have a point. And now he does. So everybody in Edmonton can sleep tonight. Everything's okay.
Cheer in the building was louder for the assist call than it was the goal call. Tells you who a lot of fans have come to watch tonight.
Well, I don't think it'll be his last one, by the way, for McDavid. Just this first one at the Young Stars tournament. Joey LaLeggia's got an offensive upside. The shot, and Clay Witt makes the blocker stop. Had a long career with Northeastern. Did Clay Witt. Eligible to be drafted back in 2010, which was the first year of this event.
Hails from Brandon, Florida.
I didn't know there was another Brandon other than Manitoba.
Brandon, Florida is where that guy calls home. You mentioned he's got even, you can see on his mask, he's got the Florida license plate on his chin. WI on the right, TT on the left with that token Florida orange. As you mentioned, in Northeastern, put up some good numbers last year in 23 games, 2.83 goals against average, and has signed a contract with the Vancouver Canucks in an American League deal, so he'll be likely possibly playing with former Oilers puck stopper Richard Bachman.
Oh yeah,
who's
Bachman
now on
Turner.
the Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Sure. 6'2", 200 pounds is Clay Witt. Best season, 17, 12, and 3 with Northeastern. Not the best night on his part. I wouldn't call any of the goals bad.
Oh no.
One went off of Hutton.
Last
hasn't
two
been a
he
bad
didn't
night.
see.
Yeah, he hasn't had a bad night, but you look up at the scoreboard and see Edmonton has 24 shots and 4 goals. That's not great for the save percentage.
Should also mention that coming up in our second intermission break, I'll be joined in conversation with Trevor Linden, president of hockey operations. He'll obviously be disappointed with how the scoreboard looks, but real happy with where the organization is going forward with their prospects. A lot of first-round draft picks here this weekend for Vancouver at the South Okanagan Event Center.
Tell him he looks real cool. He must be the coolest looking president in the NHL. I mean, he makes it work. You know, you'd think he might be in a suit with that ceremonial puck drop to start the game. He's got kind of, relaxed outfit, and he looks like he still could play. Lots expected of the Vancouver Canucks this year. I mean, a team that a hair away from winning a Stanley Cup in 2011, and as the Sedins, Daniel and Henrik have said, the window only seems to get, it seems to continue to close, and so there isn't a lot of opportunity to keep that core together. We mentioned some of the players who are now gone, so we'll see a team that's always in the playoffs if they can make it again and do something once they're there.
Gone through a lot of changes since that memorable postseason run in 2011. Changes on the ice, changes off the ice.
Well, and again,
certainly has a lot of people in Vancouver and around British Columbia talking, and you're right, there's a certain amount of hype about the Canucks going into this year.
Gaunce, wrist shot, scores! Brendan Gaunce with the late goal in period number 2, and the Canucks have some life. The score, 4-1.
Well, Brendan Gaunce, as we mentioned earlier this period, is in his 3rd Young Stars Classic for the Vancouver Canucks, and the former first-round draft pick finishes nice here. Drafted in 2012, had options to either shoot or pass. He had McCann and Fox going to the goal, but instead he elects to shoot And Kevin Bouchard, who hasn't really faced a shot since coming in midway through this period in relief from Meitu Lorikainen, gets beat by Brendan Gautz. He had a good tournament last year here for the Canucks prospects, and he breaks the Oilers' goose egg here late in period 2.
We talked about Draisaitl making the move, and Gaunt's in a similar situation, a centerman, but then you get Jared McCann, and you get Bo Horvat, who was stellar at this tournament last year, and then you're just looking to play somewhere. So he has, looks like maybe his future might be on the wing.
Had a real good first year of pro hockey last year for Travis Green in the Utica Comets. 11 goals, 29 points in his first season of pro hockey. Had a couple of big playoff games too, where he's scored some big goals in their memorable postseason run in the American Hockey League level.
Mitch Mraz now getting involved with Hunter Shinkaruk. Dane Fox getting the lone assist, I believe, on that goal. So the goose egg is broken as we try and settle exactly what will happen here on the ice.
Don't think any penalties will be issued here, but just a lot of...
A little more chatter. There's Mitch Mraz and Jake Virtanen. They've been talking much of the evening. Well, Mitch Mraz not only watching Connor on the ice, but they're roommates here in Penticton off the ice. The Oilers taking different approaches with their number 1 picks. Taylor Hall lived with Jordan Eberle when he got to the NHL. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with more of a veteran like Ryan Jones. Nail Yakupov with his family. And now McDavid will be alongside Taylor Hall and Luke Gazdic. But the interesting thing, Joey, you know how it is when camp comes. So all the rookies are put together and they stay at a hotel. And he said, hey, I'm only there until camp starts. And then I'm going to live at the hotel with the rookies. I've never seen a guy want to be treated like he's not the guy. That's the way McDavid is.
That's really important, because let's not forget, he's only 18 years of age. And sure, he's a fantastic high-end blue chip talent, but he's still a teenager.
Valeja out front. Wraparound attempt from the slot. McDavid gets to it, but time runs out, and boy, the officials screaming in to make sure nothing happens between, looks like Brendan Gaunce, is that correct?
And Connor
McDavid. And I don't think anything was going to happen. I mean, they're politely talking to each other, but they just went right to the two of them to make sure nothing could potentially happen. So more goals, more talking. We've got some fighting, penalties, a lot happening in period number 2. A lot happening throughout the first 40 minutes of this hockey game. The Oilers cruising, but that late goal might make a difference as the Canucks have at least got themselves on the scoreboard. The difference is 3 through 2. Trevor Linden on the way with Joey Kenward. That and much more thanks to our title sponsor, Sport Check. Game 2 is through 2 periods here in Penticton.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours. And it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you, and they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down, make an excuse, let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up? And get to work.
Hello and welcome back to Sport Check's flagship location as we continue the Sweat for This series alongside Simon Bennett, the Director of High Performance for the Edmonton Oilers. And Simon, now we're going to shift the focus to rest. We've talked about working out and, you know, you get your body into a sweat. And people might forget that rest is vital to training and fitness. And rest, in a way, could be used as a weapon, correct?
Absolutely, and rest is a very broad term to discuss what we're going to talk about today. But for the most part, yes. I mean, recovery is what we're talking about. Rest and recovery are integral parts of any training model and should be incorporated into what people do. People are spending way too much time going to physiotherapists. They're spending way too much time, getting massage treatments. I hear people say to me all the time, "Oh yeah, I don't have to do that because I see my massage therapist once a week." Well, there is, 6 other days during the week, and what are you doing to help facilitate that recovery? And when I say it's a broad topic, it is a broad topic because it also includes all the elements. Rest would include, sleeping, right? If I take naps, how long are those naps? What am I doing to refuel myself, my nutrition? And then what do I do to prepare myself for workout? And then what do I do to recover from that workout? So we're going to talk very specifically today about some things that we can do that will help facilitate or accelerate recovery through soft tissue mobilization strategies.
Is there anything that we're going to show to the public in terms of how to help resting?
Absolutely. I'm going to show you some soft tissue mobilization strategies that are going to allow you to normalize tissue quality. So we're going to be able to actually take what you had before you started working out and normalize it back to where it should be in an effort to try to accelerate the body's ability to be able to come back the very next day pain-free and ready to work out.
All right, Simon, let's see it.
Let's do it, buddy.
So what I want to show you today is I want to show you specifically how we can take a simple tool like a lacrosse ball and we can do a little bit of soft tissue mobilization. This is something that we can do mostly after our workouts, but it can be done initially at the beginning as well as a preparation part to your program. The exercise that I want to show you is basically just mobilizing an area within the hip called the glute. And so I'm going to have to drop down onto the floor here. And what I want to do is I want to actually place this ball right underneath the top part of my glute. Now, that area that's right at the top of the glute should just be kind of just slightly below kind of the pelvis area. And then as I'm sitting into that ball, what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to use a technique called search and destroy. So searching for discomfort. When I find discomfort, what I want to do is kind of hang out there and identify on a scale from 1 to 10 whether that's a 10 out of 10 intensity or whether it's a 7 or 8 or 6 or whatever it might be. Once I find the 10, then I'm going to stay there and I'm going to hold that position until it goes from a 10 all the way down to a 3. Once it's gotten to a 3, then I'm going to move and reposition the ball to another area of the tissue until I've kind of cleared out that entire area. Now, why this is important is because when I put pressure into an area where there's discomfort, right, that's muscle tissue that's not actually absorbing force. And what we want is we want to be able to have tissue be able to absorb force, because when that happens, it's healthy. It allows us to basically dissipate load and prevent injury. And just remember that if it hurts, it's probably a good thing. But there's a couple of things that I want to mention to you. One is that if you're feeling a little bit of a nervy sensation, right, where you're getting a kind of a shooting feeling down your leg, you need to move it off that area because you're probably up against a nerve. So I want you to take this home, give it a try, and see if you can improve your function and your ability to be able to move and stay away from injuries.
Welcome back to the South Okanagan Event Center here in downtown Penticton, British Columbia. Joey Kenward with you. It's my pleasure to be joined with Trevor Linden, the president of hockey operations for the Vancouver Canucks. And I know this is your second year in a row with the franchise coming here to this beautiful city, to this beautiful building. It's hot outside, and even the energy in the building's been pretty hot. How impressed are you with everything that goes on and off the ice here in Penticton?
It's a great venue, obviously, to come up to Penticton. They do world-class events all the time, so this is fairly routine for them. But the building's fantastic. The accommodations are great. It's just a great place for this tournament, and to have Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Calgary, Vancouver, obviously the Canadian contingent here makes it a lot of fun. You see all sorts of Flames and Oilers and Canucks jerseys, Winnipeg jerseys. So it's a great spot, and this year is definitely a lot of fun.
It's a great opportunity, obviously, for each team's hockey operations departments to see what the future looks like for your respective clubs. And you have a lot of former first-round draft picks that are here. You've got a lot of fresh faces through recent drafts or free agents. This is what it's all about when it comes to the development process of a club.
Yeah, and I think we look at this 4 days is 2 opportunities. We brought all our amateur scouts in. We're going through a bunch of criteria and working with them and going through what we expect this season. So there's that kind of kickoff to that, and also obviously having our prospects here and having them have the chance to see them in this type of competition is really important. And also, when you think about it from a hockey operations standpoint, these kids are playing game action right now. When we go to Prince George, it won't be right into games. We'll do some scrimmaging, but it's going to be less less game action they're seeing now. So the next game opportunity will be preseason for many of the kids if they get that opportunity. So this is a pretty special opportunity.
You had a couple of your first-round draft picks that were here last year, but due to various injuries or ailments, they didn't get into game action. So how excited are you and your staff to be able to see both Jake Vertanen and Jared McCann both selected in round 1 2 years ago?
Yeah, for sure. And put on top of that for me is Cole. I didn't see Cole play a whole lot, and of course Pettit is here as well. But to see Jake and Jared have our jersey on playing has been great. And I mean, it's obviously some nerves involved, and that first period is pretty spicy, no question. So, but it's been good, and you can kind of see there's a group of young players that are starting to come, and they need some time yet, but it's good to see them out there for sure.
A few more moments here with President of Hockey Ops for the Canucks, Trevor Linden. It's been another busy summer for you and your staff. A lot of changes both on and off the ice. How do you see things as far as your overall group goes, starting with main camp next week in Prince George?
Yeah, we're excited about it. Obviously, we've made some changes. Obviously, bringing in Brandon Sutter was a big change, and it's going to give us speed and more of a two-way game. Obviously, young players are kind of what we're talking about, and seeing what Sven Barchi can bring to the table, and Ronnie Kennens came in and played real well last year. Hopefully, he can follow that up. And another year with Bo coming back. So we love our leadership. We've got quality people. We think we'll be real strong goaltending. Our defense is going to be in good shape. Matt Barkowski is going to give us that transition puck moving type element. Obviously Frank Corrado is going to be a new addition back there. So it comes down to our ability to manufacture goals, and as you know, it's a fine line every night, and Western Conference, there's no gimmies, so it's going to be a battle. We're going to be in the fight, and we'll see where we wind up.
Got about 30 seconds. Your head coach is not here this week. I know he's not expected to be in Prince George next week. Can you give Canucks fans an update on the status of Willie Desjardins?
Yeah, Willie's doing well. I talked to him yesterday morning. He had successful hip surgery. I can tell you that he's watching the game streaming on his computer right now. I know that because he's calling after every period to talk to Jim and John. So it's been really difficult for him not to be here, but it's the only option we had. He had to get it done. There's no way he could get through the season in that kind of shape. So he's on the recovery path, and that's good news. And I know it's tearing his heart out not to be here because he loves the game and loves being around.
Well, we miss you, Will. I look forward to seeing you back behind the bench.
Sure.
Trevor, appreciate you joining us. Enjoy the rest of the tournament here in Penticton.
Thanks, Joey. Appreciate it.
Trevor Linden, the President of Hockey Operations, joining us here for the Vancouver Canucks at the South Okanagan Event Center. Now, let's take a look at what some of the Edmonton Oilers players were doing with some of their season ticket members, giving them a few surprises leading into the start of their campaign in northern Alberta.
I'm looking forward to get some cookies again, like 2 years ago. And
They're fresh out of the oven. Did you need something to drink? Help yourself.
Yeah, I was so hungry. I was like hungry, and we've seen like so many cookies on the table, and it was like 10 minutes, 15, 20. I'm like, can I grab some cookies, please? So I just grab it and got it. Hello. Cookies here?
How you doing, guys?
Good, how are you?
Grayson?
How you doing? How you doing? Hi, I'm Cam.
That's a really good box.
Great, what's
made
this?
for you.
I think stuff like this kind of goes a long way in the community and really builds even more excitement for this upcoming season. So.
You want chips? You're all this excitement.
Yeah.
You want chips?
That's more exciting.
Just a card? Of course I'm gonna try this. That's a healthy. That's healthy food right here. Nice to meet you, bud. TK, right? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you guys. Hello.
I'm Cam. Nice to meet you. Welcome to town. Thank you very much.
Hi, Neil. Yeah, nice to meet you. What?
It's just wonderful to see you.
Yeah, I know.
I want to give you a hug, man.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Well, of course.
There's the cookies for you, Neil. Yeah. He was talking about that in the car. He's like, I wonder if anyone have cookies.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know the story.
Is this shot as hard as we hear it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but you never know where it's going. You have to duck. You have to duck every once in a while. So. This is a beautiful home, by the way.
I want to learn how to play on drums this year.
So what you gotta do is cross your hands. So this one, it goes on here. Yeah. So just and then you use this hand on here.
Wow, it's hard. But I will learn though.
Yeah. Well, as an athlete, you have a coordination for it. So it's just.
It might be one of the coolest signatures I've ever seen.
Nobody can figure out how that's a snail yak.
No. Snail from Nizhny-Kamsk, Neftekhimik. That's my city, my name of the team, and just Snail. But it's Russian letter though. It's not English, right? Hello. What are you doing? Okay, we're going. How's it going?
Welcome.
This is a beautiful box.
Yeah, I appreciate the hand delivery.
Okay, you have to open up though. That's cool.
Nice.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
Oh, the paparazzi.
That's a really good story. The first night, so I had the mini pack, and the first night was against LA, where you went sliding across the ice on your knees. And we're so just adrenaline pumping after that game that we didn't fall asleep till like 3 in the morning. So after that, my dad's like, we might as well just drive back every single night. Where are you staying? I was up all night. And that was awesome. That was a great
That's awesome.
You're turning all red now.
Yeah.
Fans remember everything now.
I think the best part of the day is just seeing their reactions and their faces and how much this team means to them and to their families.
What's the word?
Spectacular.
I was thinking during this ride, this may be some of the best cycling in the world. And I trained in France the last couple of years. I trained in New Zealand. It's just a spectacular place to be.
Welcome back to the South Okanagan Event Center. 4 of those fans are happy, 1 isn't. And I'll give you a guess which one it is. At this point, it's the Vancouver Canucks fan. The Oiler fans should have smiles on their faces because they lead 4-1, Joey, after 2 periods of play.
Edmonton had the 1-0 lead after the first period, and then Leon Draisaitl with a pass towards the slot, pinballed right to Josh Winquist. He makes no mistake. At that time, early on in period 2, it was 2-0. Then Draisaitl into the action, gets a goal of his own, albeit off a lucky break on a pass that deflects off defenseman Ben Hutton and in. Then make it 4-0 Edmonton on the power play, and there's Connor McDavid with his first assist in an Oilers jersey to set up captain Darnell Nurse. His shot from the point gets through traffic and in. But the goose egg of the Oilers is broken by forward Brendan Gaunce on an odd man rush, a snapshot that goes far shelf in a game that's also been physical. And Jake Virtanen certainly has been involved for the Canucks, as well as Darnell Nurse for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, Greg Chase started it, and there's Virtanen. You can kind of see he's got a little mouse under his right eye, and I think that was initiated by Chase. And in case you missed it and have been doing something else on your Friday night, Jake Virtanen just happened to hit Connor McDavid with a clean, solid check that sent McDavid
early in the game. Second shift for each players.
First few minutes sent him kind of into the boards, and McDavid has been fine ever since. He looks like he's got a little mark under his left eye. We'll do a documentary on that, I'm sure. Now, there's a mark under the kid's left eye, but he did get his first point. He took his first hit, and he just broke his first stick. So he goes right to the bench and gets another one. It has been an entertaining game on the part of these two teams. There's McDavid trying to get by Subban, looks over both shoulders and just sends it behind the net. Chase, and there's Mitch Moroz as well, who spent some time in the penalty box in that second period after a fight with Mackenzie Stewart. Now Moroz trying to get on the scoreboard in a different way. Pass out front to McDavid, spinning, gets it to Moroz. Oh, what a save there by Clay Witt. Great pass by McDavid. Better stop by Witt.
Clay Witt has been the busier of the two goaltenders in this game. Seen 26 shots come his way from the Oilers.
Cole Castles trying to make his way through. Darnell Nurse, easy pass out to center ice as Connor McDavid had a couple of nice setups early in the game, and then there was the hit, and he did get a point, and that was maybe his best setup of the night. Mitch Moroz right on the doorstep. Jared McCann trying to get a hold of that. Goes back to Fox. Checked by Bear. Animal theme to that play. Gaunce the shot. And Bear runs into Eetu Laurikainen. Actually, it's Draisaitl.
There's Kevin Bouchard, who came in at the midway point of this game, gets back to his skates, and the opportunities for the Edmonton Oilers, and Connor McDavid with a great setup to Mitch Moroz, and that's the best save Clay Witt has made all game. 26 shots, as we mentioned, have come the Florida native's way tonight. Certainly can't fault him for the 4 that have gotten by him, with 40-plus minutes already in the book tonight for the Canucks goaltender.
Winquist trying to get it to Draisaitl, who's got a goal and an assist. You mentioned Kevin Bouchard. You're right. Laurikainen started the game and looked very solid. The Oilers expressing interest in him after Christmas. That's what his agent told him, and so he just proceeded to play well and signed a 2-year entry-level deal. Bouchard, one of those goalies. The Oilers took 6 goalies in the 6 drafts leading up to 2014. So they're trying to get someone. Now they got Laurent Brossoit in a deal with the Calgary Flames. So that he's kind of jumped up the ladder as the goalie of the future. We saw Cam Talbot, he's delivering tickets. The Oilers hope he's going to deliver some wins after what he did as a backup and then fill in for Henrik Lundqvist. Shot from the point, blocked. Cole Sanford getting a piece of that. Bouchard had that just go beside or under his goal stick. Canucks looking for an early goal to try and get themselves a little closer on the scoreboard. Platzer looking for Sanford, who in his 50-goal season, one of 2 50-goal scorers in the Western Hockey League. And, you know, he walked by me today, and if he was carrying newspapers, I would have thought he was just delivering them. I mean, just a young-looking, smallish type player. There's Rankin with the shot and the goal as he rings it off the post and by Witt.
And that's probably one that Clay Witt would like to have back. But Connor Rankin, and he's had some opportunities tonight to finish, finally gets one in to make it a 5-1 Oilers lead, and a player that's not been known to go cold on a regular basis, scoring-wise. Got some space on the left side, let a snapshot go. Don't know if it took a possible deflection off the D-man and in, being Carl Neal, but Rankin this season with the Calgary Hitmen had 32 goals and 79 points. Point per game player in junior hockey, trying to put on a good show for himself here. He's had a multiple point performance tonight here, helping the Oilers into a comfortable lead.
I think Clay Witt's throwing his head back would kind of tell you he wasn't happy. Looked like maybe he was a little deeper in his crease and he would have liked, oh, big hit by Christopher. But the Canucks, Virtanen with the wraparound. And Bouchard gets around nicely, and then he and the net were given a knock there as Bouchard makes his best stop since coming in midway through this game.
Here's a look at the chance just created by Jake Virtanen, and the wraparound opportunity that couldn't get by Bouchard. Virtanen known, obviously, to play physical, score goals, but he's also got that extra gear that he can get into, and that's a tough player to get around in Darnell Nurse. He did well to get around the former 6th overall pick, but just didn't have enough real estate to work with to beat Bouchard on the far side.
When you're named the player of the game in the gold medal final at the World Junior Hockey Championships, which is what Darnell Nurse was named, shows you what kind of a player he was that night. He was a top 3 player for Canada in that event. It was, I mean, when you're the 7th overall pick in 2013, you're certainly not unknown, but it really was a coming out party across the nation. Leon Draisaitl just has his stick flipped out of his hands by Gauntz. And now McCann to Gauntz. Gauntz trying to get to the front of the net. He does. Bouchard the save, rebound, scores. Ben Hutton up from the blue line responds for the Canucks to make it 5-2 Edmonton.
And that's a defenseman in the crease scoring the goal for the Canucks. Ben Hutton, who's been in the system for a number of years, just completed his NCAA hockey with the University of Maine Black Bears. Joined into the rush after taking the pass. Brendan Gauntz got in deep, and there's Hutton short side jabbing it by Bouchard. This line up front for Vancouver has been their best line tonight. Gauntz working with McCann and Fox, and in this situation, Zalewski took the shift in place of Fox, and Hutton, playing in his first Young Stars tournament, gets his first goal in a Canucks uniform. The second goal of the night for Vancouver.
I thought a great effort there by Gauntz to really take it to the net. That showed a lot by Gauntz. And Hutton, who was drafted by Kingston of the OHL, but as Joey mentioned, decided to go the university route with Maine and won the Bob Manahan Award, top defenseman out of New England, and he shows some offensive flair there. Now Virtanen, oh, what a save by Bouchard. And then Rodrigo Alves, who happened to get himself involved, and here we go again. Mitch Moroz with Virtanen takes him down.
Well, also involved here for Edmonton is Greg Chase, and he went after Rodrigo Alves.
Oh, and
after the
Virtanen
whistle.
with the punch to Moroz. Moroz just dropped his gloves. But Virtanen won't at this point.
Now it's Waltz mixing it up with
Brisebois.
Guillaume Brisebois. First time we've had a bit of a yard sale tonight between these two teams, but in a game that had, I loved how Trevor Linden referred to it in our second intermission, real spicy start to the hockey game. Was a little bit quieter in the second period with some goals being scored, but Virtanen with a glorious opportunity, great save made by Bouchard, then Alves pressured to the glass, and then that was coming right into the mix afterwards. I believe Brisebois trying to defend his teammate, and then before you knew it, we had players scrumming in various areas of the zone. So a little bit of discussion now to see who will have the penalties sorted out.
Yeah, Moroz went after Virtanen. And so we've got a busy penalty box. Mitch Moroz, he spent about as much time as he has in the penalty box as the bench on the part of the Oilers. So a trio of Canucks find themselves in one penalty box.
Moroz standing while Greg Chase is sitting for the Oilers.
Yeah.
And the extra player that's in the box is Mackenzie Stewart, still serving time from his
fight with Moroz.
Fight with Moroz in that second period.
And Moroz, in case you're wondering, is talking to Virtanen. Shocking.
Well, certainly a talking point that no matter how this game finishes off, people will, around the country, not just in Edmonton and Vancouver, be talking about the hit that Virtanen threw on McDavid in the first period, then afterwards what players like Morose and Chase have tried to do to avenge what again was a clean hit by Jake Virtanen on the former first overall pick. Now Abels is making his way out of the penalty box, so I'm not sure if he was probably just directed there by the linesman to get him off the ice, and I wouldn't be surprised if Vancouver might be going to work on a power play here.
One of the few times I've seen a guy put in the penalty box just get him out of the way
Simmer
somewhere.
down, yeah.
You just go over there. I'll be back in a bit. Very interesting. You know what? The referees who you mentioned a little earlier in the game to kick things off have, listen, as Trevor said, spicy, and it could have got real hot. But to this point, with 15:56 left in the third period, they've done a good job of keeping things under control. Sautner at the point, McCann, wrist shot, saved by Bouchard, right pad, kicks it out. Fox the shot, and that's deflected up over Bouchard. LaLeggia will get it and send it down the ice.
This is just the second power play of the night for the Canucks. 0 for 1 when they had their first man advantage 6.5 minutes into the game. So Travis Green trying to get some of his high-end talent onto the ice to try to draw back up on the scoreboard here, trailing by 3.
Here comes Nurse. Shown an offensive upside. The Oilers trying to figure out exactly where he'll fit. We talked about Leon Draisaitl trying to make the NHL club. Darnell Nurse, the Oilers had a very busy offseason. Were able to get some more defensemen, and not sure if he'll start with the club. But tonight has been impressive. First off, has the C, and then played like it.
Good penalty kill in here by Braden Christopher, who's had a very good game tonight. One of the better Oilers in their 5-2 advantage right now on Vancouver. He scored the opening goal and doing good work on the penalty kill.
Subban, Hutton. Canucks seeing if they can cut the difference to 2. It was once 4-0. Subban the shot, that's deflected. Joe LeBate out front to screen. There's LeBate now. Ooh, just had that first touch, just wasn't a good one. Alexis Loiseau takes his time and he'll rattle that off the glass and down the ice. The Canucks maybe have one more chance at the other end on this power play as we're down to single digits in this man advantage opportunity. Cole Castles gets it in. Subban can't get to it. Mraz might have a chance, but here's Platzer holding on. Cross ice to Mraz. That goes up, and no one knew where it was for a second. Went off the mesh behind the Canucks net and out of play.
Team's back to 5-on-5 hockey now as everybody vacates the penalty box. This, I think, the way the coaches probably want to see things from here on out in the final 13-plus minutes of the third period. Travis Green behind the bench for Vancouver, and for the Oilers, a new face behind their bench, that guy right there, Jerry Fleming, be in charge of their team for Bakersfield in the American Hockey League.
LaLeggia. Slepyshev scores! As he Slepy shots, won by Clay Witt. 6-2 Edmonton.
That might be the prettiest goal of the night for the Oilers. And they have 6 to their credit, but that was real heads-up play, and Slepyshev, with lots of time between the hash marks, was able to step into a one-timer and blow it by Clay Witt. LaLeggia going down his offside, putting it right into the slot. That's a hard pass to make on your off wing, and that's a hard shot to get off when the puck is coming across your body. Slepyshev making no mistake. The Russian-born forward makes it 6-2 Oilers with 13 and a half to go in the third.
A third-round pick, 88 overall in 2013. At 16, he started playing in the KHL.
So he's been playing against men for a couple of years.
and just an unknown factor. He's one of those guys that you would just put a question mark beside, because not a lot of people have seen him. As mentioned earlier, likes to play the off wing. As a result, people talk about Ovechkin, Ilya Kovalchuk. He's a long way from that, but that was a nice goal after a great pass by Leleja, who now is working hard defensively in the Oilers zone. Nurse meets with Virtanen. McDavid gets it out. There's Mraz and Chase. Mraz will chip it in, and Chase will chase it down out to Mraz, who nearly had a great chance. He was on his knees. Shot, no! Connor McDavid has got his first as an Edmonton Oiler.
I don't think he would have ever diagrammed it up that way, though, G. Lucky bounce for McDavid. Certainly not one to put on your highlight reel demo tape for beautiful finishes, but they all count, don't they? Good work to get it down low. McDavid eventually getting help from Ethan Bear. McDavid got the shot free. It definitely deflected off somebody. Now, whether it went off Ashton Sautner or possibly Mitch Rose, we might get a better angle here. No, it went off Guillaume Brisebois' skate.
Oh, and Witt
just couldn't corral it. But Connor McDavid can celebrate with his first ever goal in an Edmonton Oilers uniform, making it 7-2 for the Northern Alberta club. And wait for the reaction in the building when they announce this call.
I think the fans reacted more than he did. He just kind of went, oh, yeah. It wasn't, first of all, it is a Young Stars tournament. And secondly, it wasn't, as you mentioned, a tic-tac-toe or a breakaway or anything like that. But they all do count, so he's got an assist.
He's got a goal.
He's got a goal.
I don't know if he's going to go for the Gordie Howe hat trick.
I think Oiler fans would hop on the ice to make sure that didn't happen. They'll take the hit as the last part that he took. So an interesting evening, a first evening for Connor McDavid in an Edmonton Oilers uniform.
His goal came exactly 1 minute after Slepyshev has finished off a beautiful passing play for Edmonton.
Braden Christopher, who started the scoring. Luc Levay. Shot gets pushed into the corner. The Oilers really not running up the score, but scoring a lot tonight. Now it's 7, and we talked about Clay Witt not feeling too bad at 4, but now it's 7. It's not the kind of night he wants to have.
Has not had a lot of help in front of him, and at the same time he's had some terrible bounces go against him.
I agree. Yeah, it's been some bad luck, and the Oilers have played pretty well and scored some nice goals. Shot from the point is Subban looking for a goal, but Kevin Bouchard, who really didn't have much action, has settled in nicely here for the Oilers.
You know, it's a 7-2 game on the scoreboard. The shot clock is a lot closer. 29 for Edmonton, 27 shots for the Canucks. The goaltenders have done their job for the Oilers. Bouchard beaten by Ben Hutton early in this third period, and Eetu Laurikainen didn't give up a goal against.
Loiseau, cross ice. Christopher looking for a tip out front. Bucharts has it intercepted, and that's pushed ahead by Hutton to Fox. Fox waiting, there's a screen, and it goes off somebody and off to the opposite corner. Now Nurse to LeVay. At Cole Lineker, and he'll just dump it in right to Witt, and that'll be his easiest stop of the night, as we're almost midway through period number 3. We were talking about Clay Witt, we were talking about Jerry Fleming, who has taken over the farm team on the part of the Edmonton Oilers, replacing Todd Nelson, who replaced Dallas Aikens. Fleming 11 games in the National Hockey League with the Montreal Canadiens.
What do you think was going through his mind when he had about 15 microphones in front of him for his morning press gathering following the Oilers' morning skate?
Well, Todd McLellan, spoken to by Tom Gazzola in the first intermission, and one of the things Todd McLellan said is, listen, San Jose is a wonderful place to live and be a coach. It's a great city, but it isn't Canada. And he's noticed that right away. I joked with him, make sure you go a lot with the win streaks. That's the time to go out. If things aren't going well, then then stay home a little, more takeout or delivery. But Todd McLellan is, that's the thing. We talk about Connor McDavid, lots of changes for the Oilers. McCann trying to go cross ice. Saw Peter Chiarelli here. He was watching the Edmonton Oilers. Congratulations to him and Stan Bowman as they will run the young stars of the World Cup, I guess you might say.
And now the top man at the totem pole, Penticton native Bob Nicholson, with the organization. Yeah, lots of changes for both of these groups on and off the ice over the years.
One looking to make the last step and one looking to make the step into the playoffs. Wrap around by Shinkarik, and Bouchard makes the stop. TV timeout, or I guess internet timeout, I guess we'll have to call it. So we're seeing on the different websites for the local clubs, as well as on sportsnet.ca. Kevin Bouchard's done a nice job. So have the Edmonton Oilers as they lead 7-2 midway through the third.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours. And it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you, and they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down, make an excuse, let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up? And get to work.
A large crowd, in fact, sold right out tonight as the Young Stars tournament is into game number 2, and a large crowd expected with the Edmonton Oilers kick off their training camp next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Leduc, and there is a training camp priority draw. Now, this is how it works. You sign up, and each winner will get a non-transferable pass that you and a guest will be able to use to one of the 3 days. To get a chance to be a priority fan and have the opportunity to watch the Oilers start their 2015 training camp, go to oilers.nhl.com/training camp draw. And that is because they're out in Leduc, great facility, but doesn't have the size of Rexall Place. And of course, you know that guy.
Yeah, they'll bring fans.
Yeah, that guy. Well, today I ran into a guy from Edmonton, couldn't get tickets, but worked a deal with someone from Penticton who had one of those VIP packs. The VIP packs were sold out quickly. $90. He paid $200 for it, and he said for Oiler games, some people were trying to get as much as $125 a ticket. They're only $15 a ticket. So there is the impact of you know who.
Yeah, the guy who scored a goal.
And everybody else. Yeah. There's Bouchard. It just sometimes is difficult. Is that Virtanen and Ethan Bear? Might put him in a bear hug.
A couple of Western Hockey Leaguers exchanging unpleasantries off camera. Hunter Shinkarik has had a frustrating night, like the rest of his Vancouver Canuck teammates. He's here for a third straight Young Stars tournament. Hunter started his pro career last year at the AHL level for the Utica Comets. Put up 16 goals, 31 points in 74 games, but gained, like the rest of his teammates, that valuable postseason experience, going all the way to an appearance in the Calder Cup final. And that's big when you're a young guy stepping into pro hockey. It's a big enough step just to go from junior to pro, but then to be part of a playoff team that goes 3 or 4 rounds. That makes things extra sweeter.
Canucks not going away here, as they're still trying to chip away at what now is a 5-goal deficit. And Jordan Subban, who's, well, I mean, can you imagine him just playing pickup shinny hockey? Oh, it would drive you nuts trying to corral him.
He's been one of the better Canucks players in this lopsided game against the Oilers tonight. Created chances. He's also been pretty responsible in his own end.
McDavid up to Mraz. Back to McDavid, doesn't get through. Hutton intercepts it. Mraz with a hit, followed up by another hit by Pettit on Mitch Mraz. He's had quite an impact on this game. Chase dropping for McDavid. Subban stops him, sent around the boards, and Hutton gets to it first, and Rodrigo Abels sends it down the ice. Icing waved off. Ben Betker just kind of missed a step there. Nearly led to some trouble. There's Stewart on McDavid. Braden Christopher, who's about a foot shorter than Stewart, steps in.
Probably made the wise choice not to challenge Mackenzie Stewart to a fight.
Stewart kind of gave McDavid a strong nudge, but nothing more than that. Oh, what a great opportunity for Christopher at the other end. What a setup by Bukarts. Nearly led to Christopher's second goal of the night.
And right after that, Mackenzie Stewart puts the puck over the glass out of play, so that's a delay of game penalty for the D-man turn forward. But there's the awesome opportunity for Braden Christopher. Scored the opening goal in the first period, helping Edmonton to a huge victory tonight here over the Vancouver Canucks. Still lots of time left, 7:44, but Edmonton up by 5 are going to work on their 4th power play of the game and have scored on one of their previous 3.
Valenja couldn't handle that at the blue line. Back the Oilers go to regroup. There's Sanford. The Oilers giving some of their other players an opportunity on the power play. Knocked down nicely. Gauntz gets to it and over to Carl Neal. Cross ice pass. The Canucks having a little more pressure actually on this man advantage for the Oilers. Draisaitl will slow things down. Shakes off Shinkarik. Christopher. There's Laleja and Draisaitl. The Oilers going with 4 forwards on the power play. They've done that much of the night actually, right from the start. Draisaitl will keep it in, but just temporarily, and then another stop for Eetu Larakainen as he made the glove save at the end of the Oilers bench.
Yep, special teams not really a factor in this game, and that's kind of hard to say when you have 9 combined goals between the two clubs, but it's been a physical game, certainly had its moments, certainly had its talking points. Fans have had their share of excitement, getting their money's worth tonight here at the South Okanagan Event Center.
Well, and for example, right now the Oilers still have they had about 45 seconds, and Mraz came out, Chase came out, but no McDavid to end this power play. It is 7-2, and that might be just rubbing a little more salt in the wound if you bring out your #1 overall player. Oiler fans might say, hey, it's his first opportunity to be involved in an event like this. It never hurts for him to get time, but he'll have his time with Edmonton soon enough.
Plenty of time. Not sure if he'll play every game this weekend for the Edmonton Oilers. here at the Young Stars Classic, but he certainly made his presence felt tonight with a goal and an assist. Connor McDavid, I'm sure, will be at Rexall Place next week when the Young Stars group that the Oilers will still have intact will take on the University of Alberta Golden Bears.
Off to Rexall Place they go.
Yeah, not at the university anymore. They got too big a fan following now to play that game at the U of A arena, and that's no disrespect to that arena and that program, but they're going to have a huge crowd at Rexall Place next week for McDavid's first ever game in his
Heads up!
new city.
I don't think he heard me.
That's Mackenzie Stewart. And
Runs
that's
over Rankin.
Yep.
Mackenzie Stewart hasn't changed his game. Took on Mraz, hit McDavid, hit Rankin, and there takes a hit by Slepyshev. Platzer, Winquist. Slepyshev has his a la Ovechkin. He's standing in the slot. Hey, can you see me? Got the stick about 4 feet over my head. Bear gets back to get it, but Slepyshev is really an intriguing player for Edmonton. He's with Bukarts. We were talking about roommates. As Bukart speaks some, even though he's Latvian, he speaks some Russian. So that helps him out. And Bogdan Yakimov, who is a former third-round pick of the Oilers, same round as Slepyshev was drafted, has been helping him in Edmonton as he's been informally skating with the Oilers.
Take a look here at Mackenzie Stewart, who tonight for Vancouver has certainly made his presence felt. Physically had a fight earlier, took a hit here right in front of his own bench from Slepyshev, but this was just earlier. What a rock.
Could have been much worse.
That was a hard collision on Connor Rankin. His previous shift, he had a solid hit on Connor McDavid. As a player with the Prince Albert Raiders organization of the Western Hockey League that started as a defenseman, converted to a forward. He said, I wanted to be because I wanted to hit more and initiate more, and he's done just that.
186 pick in the 2014 draft, Stewart. Well, next to Virtanen, I think he's been the most physical Canuck tonight. Subban, nice job, keeps it in, shot from the point, and Bouchard just sticks out that blocker late, but not too late. Shinkaruk trying to get around Christopher, puck's in the crease. They're banging away at it. Shinkaruk with a poke, but Bouchard has it covered up, and whistle goes.
Gene, earlier you were talking about the Edmonton Oilers preparing for their main camp in Leduc, Alberta. The Vancouver Canucks main camp this year is going to be at a new location. Prince George, British Columbia, up at the CN Centre in northern BC. Last year the Canucks had their camp in Whistler. This year it's in Prince George. They are selling tickets for the practices because they knew full well that they would have to turn people away, not just coming from Prince George, but to all other outlying areas of northern BC, be it Terrace, be it Prince Rupert, Fort St. John, Quesnel, Williams Lake. And they're expecting a fantastic response from northern British Columbia Canucks fans when they head up to northern BC next week.
Draisaitl with a big hit behind his net against Pettit. Colton Waltz with the broken stick, but is able to get it to Clay Witt. Yeah, these teams, Canadian teams, understand they kind of got to, it's not the old days where you just sat in your own arena. You got to get out there. Platzer the shot with the save. Rebound Sanford. Clay Witt will feel a little bit better about that stop and those couple of stops after what's happened so far tonight.
We've had lots of goals in this game, but we've equally had some fantastic body checks. And this is Leon Draisaitl hitting Kyle Pettit. And at the other end of the rink, the Oilers with another opportunity to pad their lead. Sanford and Platzer denied, both by Clay Witt, who has seen 33 Oilers shots tonight, 7 of which have gotten by him. They all haven't been highlight reel goals. There's been some lucky bounces, a few pinballs, but there have been some nice goals too, and it's been a frustrating night for that guy between the pipes for Vancouver.
Rankin and McCann. Rankin wins it. Shot from the point. Witt will steer that off to the side. Delayed offside. The Oilers will clear the zone and then head back in. Ashton Sautner had that bounced on him. Platzer, the shot, scores! Kyle Platzer with the wrist shot. Edmonton bumps their lead to 6. The score, 8-2.
With 2:27 to go in the game, Platzer, who had a very solid showing last year at this tournament for the Edmonton Oilers prospects, after the giveaway by Ashton Sautner, couldn't handle the pass from his D partner Guillaume Brisebois, and the puck eventually comes to Platzer, and he snaps it by Witt. Took a quick pass. That was an alert play by Sanford to find the bouncing puck. 8-2 Oilers leading the Canucks.
I'm guessing Vancouver goalie Clay is at his wits' end the way tonight has gone. Castles behind the net. Luc Loewe. Nice poke check. There's Castles again. Lead pass. That'll go down the ice. Icing is waved off. We're talking about Cole Castles and his dad. Montreal, Hartford, Calgary, Vancouver, Columbus, Washington. 204 goals, 732 points. So some good genetics in the Castles family.
You know, Cole Castles was talking about after being drafted that when he was drafted, he had been raised in Ohio State, one of the highest ever drafted players to come out of Ohio, born when Andrew, his dad, was playing with the Blue Jackets. But as a young kid, he was brought into the dressing room when his dad was playing for the Canucks, playing mini sticks. And who do you think remembers young Cole Castles playing mini sticks?
Trevor Linden?
Daniel and Henrik Sedin as well.
Oh, wow.
So the first thing they saw him when he came to training camp was, I saw you play before, but you were in our dressing room, not on the ice.
We're into the final minute of story time and of play tonight. And that is a great story. It's an opportunity that so many young kids, you see them now in the dressing rooms with their fathers, and they don't realize how great it is until they get a little bit older. They're just playing mini sticks anywhere. It just happens to be a National Hockey League dressing room. Rankin. Oh, over to Chase. Nice play by Sautner just to deflect that wide. LeVay intercepts, and here comes Rankin, waiting for help. He's got Kyle Platzer coming. A little bit of a spinorama move. Sanford behind the net. And we're down to, well, less than 10 seconds to go in game 2 of a doubleheader to kick off the 2015 Young Stars Tournament in Penticton. It is over as Edmonton comes up with a huge offensive output. 8-2 over Vancouver in a night, Joey, that had a lot of different storylines.
You don't usually see these kind of lopsided scores at this tournament over the last 5 years, but it was a night where a lot of Oilers chipped in offensively. It was a game that certainly had a high physical element to it. And for people that came to see Connor McDavid, they weren't disappointed. He certainly was a talking point early in the game when he was on a receiving end of a hard open ice collision from Jake Virtanen, but he was able to relax, settle in, set up a nice goal in the power play for Darnell Nurse, and then scored his first ever goal in an NHL jersey. Sure, it went off an opponent's skate and bounced past the goaltender, but they all count. He can tell his grandkids one day, I went coast to coast in Penticton and scored my first ever goal. But we've got proof on YouTube now, Gene, that that's not the case. Still, McDavid and his Oilers teammates will be pretty happy with their result tonight against Vancouver.
But no time to rest on their laurels because they're back at it. Back-to-back games for both the two Alberta teams as tomorrow night Calgary will take on Edmonton. Calgary victorious earlier this evening over Winnipeg by a score of 3-1. And Sunday it'll be Vancouver and Winnipeg taking each other on before we get back to the doubleheader. And I tell you what, well, I guess nowadays people can actually just sort of watch the games on their laptop. They don't have to skip out on work or school. If you decide to, I'll write a note for you, but if you don't, just enjoy what will be another game for Connor McDavid as well as the Winnipeg Jets, a ceremonial puck drop, and that was the first puck to go in behind either goaltender. There was the hit, heard around Penticton and certainly all the way into Edmonton. A physical affair tonight on the part of the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. I hope neither team needs a nurse, even though Edmonton has got one. In the end, it was the Oilers over the Canucks 8-2 for our broadcast crew. And for Joey Kenward, good night from Penticton.